Hello and welcome to the club.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm sorry that this has taken a few weeks to put together. But yes, I am the mask manager and I am the new Pro Vercelli manager. Thank you.
Simple question, why Pro Vercelli?
Why Pro Vercelli? Now, that's a question. I think I've chosen Pro Vercelli because I completely, wholeheartedly support what the chairman's after. We're trying to rebuild a former giant club, turn of the 19th, turn of the 20th century. They were brilliant, obviously winning the league in 1908 and 1910. Basically, I understand what the club's been and what the club could be in the future. Working together, I think we can achieve that.
We haven't had the best success lately. What makes your regime different?
What makes me different? Nothing in particular. I think I'm a fairly young manager as far as managerial experience goes, that's for sure. But I've got fresh ideas and a plan to work with the youngsters and build with the youngsters for the future. Build up the club's finances. We're going to look after the finances whilst building the club. I think that's key. I think I'm on the same wavelength as the chairman, and together we will bring Pro Vercelli to its former glory.
So will you have faith in the current staff and players?
As far as that goes, yes. Players particularly, we will be primarily using free transfers to strengthen the squad where needed. Young players coming in, the aim is to make us a fortress for young players, a place where rather than the big teams coming after our young players, their young players want to join Pro Vercelli because they know that I'm going to give them opportunity, give them a chance, progress and encourage them to grow with the club as a whole. And they say you can't win anything with kids, but you can if you pick the right ones. And a good atmosphere around the club is going to be key. Staff members are loyal. They're key at the moment, and we will keep most of them on. Obviously, as we progress, certain areas of the club are going to need to be looked at. Coaching staff, that are more than capable now may need fresher faces in the future. But we will give everybody here the opportunity to grow with the club. The only place we're really going to be focusing on straight away is recruitment. We will be bringing in some new faces into the recruitment side, because finding those free players and loan players is going to be key to trying to get us success and up to Serie A as quickly as possible, but also as financially stable as possible.
How will you manage the language barrier?
I speak fluent Italian, so there's no issues there whatsoever.
Quindi in italiano hai un messaggio finale per I fan?
Arrabbiata.
So,
Yes.
so you don't speak Italian
right,
at all?
So thank you very much for watching. Yes, so I'm sorry we've run out of time there. Thank you so much. We'll be doing this every few months, but thank you.
In the heart of northern Italy lies a town steeped in footballing history. Welcome to Vercelli, home to one of the most storied clubs in Italian football, Pro Vercelli. Languishing in the lower leagues as its once glittering legacy faded into obscurity. But now, a new chapter is about to be written. A chapter of redemption, revival, and triumph. Get ready to witness the rebirth of a footballing legend. This is Football Manager 24, the Pro Vercelli Chronicles.
And welcome back to the Pro Vercelli Chronicles. So, since you were last with me, things are really sort of middling out, I suppose. We won 3-0 against Vicenza, with Spav 1 getting a brace and Mustachio on score sheet. We then went out of the cup on penalties after a 4-4, with Nepi, Mustachio getting a brace and Pesky getting one to equalise, and then, didn't really go there. And then we drew with Pro Sestino 0-0. So very, very, very much in the middle. We're 2 points clear inside the playoffs. Before the last game, we were actually second, I think, or third in the league. So I do honestly think we will be in and around the top half. But more interestingly, Atlanta, who are clear favourites, are only down in third place. They've lost twice this season now. Bit of a mistake. Bit of a, I don't know. Bit weird. But for today's game against Albinio Leffi, we have not put a goalkeeper in. Rizzo in. Oh, I've got to move these two out now, haven't I? There we go. We have Rizzo in goal with Leslie the camera, Parodi and Rodeo at the back. Emanuelo and Santoro in midfield. Maggie, Spavwan and Mustachio behind Nepi up top. I'm umming and ahhing whether we should play Mustachio or not. He's returning to full fitness in one day. We'll start with Perella. Mustachio can be on the bench. I keep changing my mind with that one. It's so sort of 50-50. So we've got a new camera set up. So the camera is actually here in front of me. Look, there's green screen action going on. And if you've enjoyed that intro, there will be more skits like that at the start of the episodes. And yes, unfortunately, the episode 1, I was waiting for the green screen. Episode 2, I'll be honest, the actual whole episode, unfortunately was corrupt, so I had to re-record it. Luckily, I had a save from before I start recording. I always make sure there's a save, and once I've finished, I always use a separate save so that if anything happens during, before, after, I can go into where I need to fix. Luckily I'd only recorded one match though, because what I did was recorded all the stuff you saw, the press conference, and then I recorded the first episode, and that's what file was corrupt. It luckily wasn't the second match, should I say, part. It was only the long video of the one match and the press conference. Just to give you a little insight. Yeah, not a clue why. Occasionally, I suppose these things happen, but hey ho, it is what it is. We got there in the end. I re-recorded the first part. Well, actually, I had to record both matches yesterday, and I re-recorded the press conference this morning. So that's the beauty of YouTube life, I'm afraid. But hey ho. Funnily enough, the results for the matches that I had to replay because the recording failed were I say exactly the same. I think the score lines were different, but the results were the same. We lost one, drew one, so no, drew one, won one. Oh, I can't remember. But yeah, the results were the same. I just remember that. So, yes, at the moment it's 1-0 to Pro Vercelli as we're currently now 5th in the league. And here's Lesi, plays it to Maggio. Lesi, Maggio. Maggio unable to beat Moretta in goal. Manuel has picked up a yellow card, looking a little bit tired as well, so maybe he'll come off at half time. But apart from that, we're not playing ever so well, but we're also not playing ever so badly. But yes. So let's talk about FFP for a minute, shall we? FFP's there. It's different for the EFL and the Championship and the Premier League. So the EFL is different from the Championship, and the Championship again is different from the Premier League. So the issue with that is newly promoted clubs, unfortunately, are getting a lower FFP because it's done over the last 3 years than if you've been in the Premier League 3 years. It's something like 100 million, and then, but if you've been in the Championship for 2 and then the Premier League for 1, you get the 100 million and then 2 lots of like 50 million-ish, I think. I can't remember the exact figures. Whereas if you're in the Premier League for 3 years, you get 300 million. So it's sort of 200 million over what your current, you're allowed over your income, compared to 300 million over your income. Plus, the teams that are there are the teams that get promoted are already on a losing battle against the big clubs. Not only from that, but from the fact that their support's going to be lower, their match revenue's going to be lower because they've been in lower leagues and things. So it's a real sort of quandary. Now, my personal view is that what should happen is you get promoted and then you get the Premier League budget, like being able to be 100 million over your income. But you get that for the full 3 years, meaning the teams that come up can basically spend over their wage budget the same as everybody else. But they've got 2 years of being able, to make up. So they've basically got a spare 100 million. So in theory, the year they go up, they can get 200 million, spend 200 million more than their budgets and still be within budget if they were abiding by FFP in the Championship. That way they get a slight advantage as a newly promoted team, which keeps the Premier League tight and competitive. Obviously, the reason this is brought up into my mind is the fine for Nottingham Forest. they've been given 4 points deduction because they were slightly over. Now, another thing to bear in mind is FFP is July the 1st to June the 30th. So FFP runs out in the middle of a transfer window. And Nottingham Forest, by the end of that transfer window, had evened up their books with the sales and things. So Spav 1 has buried it. 3-2, boys and girls. Happy days. But they had evened out their books by the end of the transfer window. So it's a bit harsh for me. You know, most of the jobs are done at the end of a transfer window. So why do they feel the need to do that? I don't know. I don't get it personally at all. I think that FFP window needs to change so it coincides with a transfer window rather than like July to June. It's mental. And and also I think that something should be done so that the teams coming up can go a little bit more over their wage budget, over their income, should I say? Because I, as an Ipswich fan, if we were to get promoted, we would have 1 year of League One FFP, 1 year of Championship FFP, and then 1 year of Premier League FFP. So I can't remember the exact, but say League One's 20 million, Championship's 50 million, Premier League's 100 million. So we've got 170 million over our income for 3 years, for like the last 3 years. Now, if we hadn't have been sensible in what business we've done over the last couple of years, that could come back to bite us. But luckily, we've been quite sensible with the ins and outs over the last few years. So it shouldn't be an issue because we've been well within FFP this year and last year. But it's an interesting thing, really, that I agree. I do 100% think FFP should be a thing. Don't get me wrong. 100% it should be. But I don't necessarily think that it's being implemented the right way. I think there are better ways of doing this than what they're currently doing. Because it almost feels like they're penalising the smaller teams. So the likes of a Leicester winning the league is never going to happen again. Clubs that are run properly are getting almost a disadvantage. Now, does it mean we're probably more stable? Yes. Are Manchester City going to feel the full force of an independent people? Probably. If Everton and Forest are getting penalties, then you would think that Manchester City are going to get something massive. So, anyway, join me. I'll be back for the second game. So, the team for today's game against Tristina, whatever. Sassy in goal with Leslie, the camera Colina and Rodio at the back, Emmanuel and Santoro in midfield, with Maggie, Spazov and Mustachio behind Nappy up top. So we're good result in the last game. Another good result today. We're back in some good form. As I say, with 14 points on the board. Here's Leslie to Emanuelo to Mezzi. Leslie, Mustachio, and he's tipped onto the bar. He's crossed back in and headed behind for a corner. Here's Mustachio. Plays it across towards Nepi, who's unable to get there, unfortunately. So with a few, 10 minutes on, pretty even game. They are 10th in the league. We are 6th. A win, though, could put us right back up towards the top end. And remember, we're only supposed to be top 10. That's all the board want is playoffs. So it's not going to take much to do that. Maggio should have played it across. That was not good. Mustachio headed it forward, but no one's there for the second ball. And here's El Arak. Great tackle there from Mustachio. And now Clona. Rodeo. Corner. Santoro's tackled, unfortunately. Here's Azrak. De Urso. Maggio intercepts, but gives it back to De Urso, and it's gone out for a corner. We're getting a bit of performance down this near side, which is their right. Our left. Which makes you wonder whether we need to make a little bit of change, but here's Maggio to Leslie. Leslie back to Maggio. You can see Maggio's starting point is further in, whereas Mustachio is hugging that line a little bit more. He comes inside, checks back. Mustachio plays it across to Maggio. Leslie now out wide, comes inside and buries it through a bunch of players. Keeper had to be unsighted. There's no other reason for him to be beaten. But we get the ball past. It's 1-0 to Pro Vercelli. Puts us all the way up in 4th place, which is a good result. We are only 2 points behind top of the table as things stand. Sessi makes a worldie of a save there and pushes it over. But now they're coming in with the corner. The corner comes in towards the back post and it's cleared away. And Spav1's got the ball, plays it back to Mustachio, and the highlight ends there. They've got a throw in. Sassy gathers comfortably. This is not the best game in the world. We've not played really well, but we're still winning. So it's like, what do you say at half time? We're not playing well. We are just about staying in the game. It's an interesting one to think about. I don't know what we're going to do. And this highlight's going on forever as they get another corner. And we managed to get it clear, and surely that's the end of the highlight. Spav1 on the ball. And it goes out for a throw-in. And that does end the highlight. So at half time, we're 1-0 up. We've not played particularly well. Pump fist, I think we're doing well. We can definitely find another gear. I'm 100% behind that. Like, we're doing alright, but there's definitely more there for us. Is Rodeo running down the wing, plays it forward to Mustachio, who gets an early cross and Nepi off the post. Wow, that's a little bit better. Emanuele clears it, but they're coming back at us again. Zanzolin. Leslie manages to get it clear out for a throw-in. Wow. Highlight ends, luckily. So, we've got international call-ups today. International games this weekend. I'm wondering, should Leif Davis be getting a call-up? He's an out-and-out left-back. His assisting for days last year and this year in the championship, like over 14 assists from left back already. England don't really have a left back that's ever fit. So should they be looking at Leaf during these friendlies is my view, and I think they should. Evidently they haven't this time, but he can't be far away from a watch, can he? So we managed to win 1-0, and that's 4 in the table, now comfortably fourth, with 3 points clear inside the playoffs. So when do we come back? I think we come back for Perigles and Firenzola. We'll come back for those two. Nice home and away fixtures. But if you've enjoyed that, please leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and until next time, I have spoken.